you know, say performance marketing was 3-4 years ago, just focusing on paid search and paid social, and now we're in the game where influencers can now use their assets in terms of content creation and also in terms of their reach to help brands launch.
Right. You guys know the difference between a media buy and influencer marketing? Right. Okay. Like on YouTube, they call it media buy, right? Where it's basically it's the lower third. It's a pre-roll or a display ad on the YouTube page, right? You know, like the pre-roll. How many people here, when they see the pre-roll, they hit the skip?
Yeah.
Everybody hits the skip, right? Now, influencer marketing, right? When I was at Maker, we realized that's where the real ROI was, right? Now, a lot of these networks will sell you media buy, and hey, give 200,000, 100,000 media buy, 100,000 influencer marketing, but what really gets the ROI is the influencer marketing. We knew that, so our company focused in on influencer marketing. Social Bluebook did. And so basically what you can do is, that's where you get a creator to say, hey, you know, oh, it's Crystal Geyser water, I love it. Hey, you would find somebody, like on our platform, you could search for, take it, you were 18 to 35 females, you could search for those influencers on our platform that have that demo, and then you could simply make them an offer, once you see their values, Social Bluebook, right? And you can then make them an offer, and in return, what you're wanting them to do is say, hey, I want you to promote my product in your video, right? So during their video, they might be saying, hey, so-and-so here, and today I'm going to go surfing, but before I go surfing, God, I love this Crystal Geyser water, right? And you're going to love it too. Click the link below if you want to buy some water for yourself, right? Now, believe it or not, if you find the right creator or the right brand, the ROI is off the hook. Like, for instance, you know, I got a buddy who's got a hunting, actually my partner, one of the co-founders, part of the Shea Carl family, a guy named Casey Levere. Casey has a hunting channel. Yeti coolers went to him, right? And they said, we want to try this, see how this works with you. They crushed it. He went hunting, he brought their product out and talked about it because he loved their product. And they sold a boatload of product, right? So, to answer your question is, you know, you can go on our platform, you can find creators who, you know, fit particularly your brand or product and make them offers. And then you can negotiate with them and see if you can get them to accept the deal and, you know, and do an influencer marketing campaign for you. Now, before we jump off that, I just want to say too, my little company is also doing crowdfunding. We just applied for Title IV Regulation A+ with the SEC. We have our last set of notes that we just sent off this week. We're hoping to get approval, and that will allow us to raise money through our community. I thought, you know, it would be cool, it's my opinion, when Maker Studios sold, right? Many creators came up to me and said, Chad, you know, I promoted Maker. I said, yeah, you did. How much money do you think I'm going to get? And I said, how much equity you have? They said, what's equity? Kind of sad. I felt bad, right? But to be honest, to be fair, you know, there's all these platforms you can't get them all equity. That makes sense. So when I heard about this Title IV Regulation A+, I thought, this is the right thing to do, right? Why not, instead of letting these big bankers, Goldman Sachs, always, you know, they own everything, why not let the little guy own a piece of this one, right? And there's no better brand ambassador than the creators. So we're the first social media company that I know of that is doing this. We're working with a company that did the campaign for Helio, which raised $18 million at $300 million valuation pre-revenue, right? So we're hoping that with our big creators who own Social Bluebook with us, that we can get creators to potentially invest in us, because there's no better brand ambassador than creators. And I'd love to hit one out of the park for them if I could. So.
Awesome. And what type of, oh, sorry, I was going to say just to kind of maybe validate some stuff that Chad was talking about. The book of business that I work on largely are kind of, there are some kind of established companies out there. I work primarily with like the Match Group, which owns Match.com. They also own Tinders. People that thought those were separate. It's really kind of the same company. But the things, but anything that when they kind of talk to us and when they partner with us and say, great, how can we leverage the platform? One of the first things they always bring up is, I don't want to throw money at ads, right? They're looking for influencer marketing. They're looking for those, like, how can you create authentic content? You know, and to Chad's point, it's not someone going, this is Crystal, guys. It's not that obvious.
Right. That's joking.
Yeah, total hyperbole. But it is when I was running marketing at Boots for the startup, we couldn't compete in the paid media game of like buying the keyword online flowers. That's a $16 per click keyword on Google. You can't do it. You can't compete when you're a startup. What do? You reach out to people. We created a relationship with Eric Bruderbach, who's does most of the weddings down at Beverly Hills Hotel, right? Like people that really were like curated into the floral industry. Partnered with them, created deals with them to make sure that they would be an ambassador for us through their social channels, through their public channels. If you can hit the right influencers, it's an accelerator, and it's about creating a relationship with them. There's a give and take. It's crafting the right deal, but it's absolutely one of the most valuable things you can do. It's social proof for your business and your concept.
I started using books after seeing it on Shark Tank.
That's
It's the most brilliant thing ever.
didn't really close a deal, but at the same time, yeah, it's independent.
Yeah. I get a reminder every year to send flowers for my wife on Valentine's Day.
It was great. It was the East Coast feed of Shark Tank on one TV, Google Analytics on the other. Quite the rant.
I just want to add something to, yeah, like he's absolutely correct. Like, I would approach creators and Maker, and the advertising world is that they're like in shock. They're having to open their eyes because none of them realize. Like they're coming and say, okay, so here they would come to me and say, okay, we want this particular creator, and here's what he's going to have to do, right? And I'm like, okay, one, if I give you the creator, you'd be lucky. Two, I don't think he's going to want to do that idea. He's going to want to do his own idea. And they're like, no, he's going to do our idea. I'm like, you're thinking television, right? I said to him, you want his audience, right? Who knows his audience better than him? You should tell him your bullet points and allow him to do it. No, tell him we're going to give him $100,000, he's going to say this. I went to him and I said, fine. Hey, so-and-so wants to do $100,000, and they want you to do the script. That script is retarded. Okay, great. So I go back and I say, yeah, what they say? They don't like it. I had to, shine it up, but they didn't like the script. They didn't tell me exactly what sucked ass. But they said, so basically they said, what are you talking about? I'm like, I told you that you're not going to be able to tell these creators how to talk to their audience. And that's what is so cool. It's flipping everything upside down. Remember with George Lucas with Empire Strikes Back? They said, hey, if you want Empire Strikes Back, you're going to put THX around in the movie theater. No, we're not. Okay, you're not giving Empire Strikes Back. Wait, what? Yeah, we're not going to give it to you. Well, we'll put it in. It's changing. The creators are calling the shots. And I love it. Little guy. I don't feel little guy. I always feel little guy.
Very cool. So Keith, I got a question for you. We've been going back and forth about, paid advertising and then influencer and content reach. For those that aren't very familiar with Facebook advertising, can you brief the crowd a little about how Facebook has been able to leverage the data that it collects on all of us, and it's been able to help brand scale. It's a good thing. If you're starting a brand, you can be someone that has a product you're making in your garage, and you can scale. So just like a brand like Toyota can work, so can a small brand as well.
So I'll do my best to try and condense this down because I could talk forever about this. But there's really like a few key kind of like salient moments at Facebook that really kind of like define our future. One day, Mark Zuckerberg was at an all-hands meeting, talked to us and said, hey, I just want everyone to know we are no longer going to be a company that focuses just on product. We're going to be a mobile-first company. And then everything that we do will be mobile-first. Forget about desktops. Forget about designing anything for a web environment. It will be designed for mobile. Why is that important? Well, next time someone came in to pitch like one of the next products they wanted to do, they put up a mock-up of like newsfeed, right? And it was a desktop version of it. You just kick them out. It's like, nope, everything will be mobile-first. Once we did that and we kind of committed to it and we followed kind of consumer behavior, it's amazing. All of our advertisers are now drinking that Kool-Aid. Like, that is so important for reason why is because you guys have them now. Right? You guys have an iPhone out, you might have an iPad at home that you travel with on an airplane, you got a laptop. We don't think about cookies, we don't think about like tracking mechanisms like that. We think about people. And so we, in the success of Facebook's advertising in a mobile-first world with 1.9 billion monthly active people, we can follow people from device to device to device. And there is no cookie technology that can do that. And for data companies that are trying to say, great, this person was over here and you think they logged in over here, no one has the footprint that we have. And so when we're a big marketing analytics company. We're actually doing a lot of work right now to make sure that our clients that we work with on a regular basis understand the value of any marketing dollar they spend with us. Traditionally, like the placements that you might know, you open up your phone, you scroll through your newsfeed, there might be a piece of content there. We are trying to move away from the traditional banner ad concept of, oh, this is an ad, click here, buy here, $5 off. That is not what engages on our platform. What engages on our platform is content, unique content that's coming from influencers. It's even better. It works really, really well. What's that? Yeah, top 10 reasons, right? That's kind of like the cooking stuff that people kind of know. But from an ad product standpoint, people are looking for something that's authentic. It fits within the stream of information that they have from all their friends and their family. And when I talk to my clients and say, great, you're going to run an ad concept, that ad concept is going to describe it. It's not going to work well with me. Why not? I said, because you're competing against someone's beat. Like, that's what you're doing. You're scrolling through. What's going to stop your thumb? And so marketers that think about the $5 off coupon, room to the side. You're not thinking about it correctly. You have to express on our platform why your company exists, not what you do, why you're existing. Millennials care more and more about like what's the value of your company, what does your company stand for, and that's really important in the decision-making process that people have. So from an ad product standpoint, we want to develop content that's organic to newsfeed. Right? We want to develop content that fits within the type of content that they're using. Mark had another salient moment. This was about 6 months ago. He sat us down again. He goes, I know I yelled at you guys about being mobile first. We're going to be video first. So you'll start to see that. If you use Facebook, you'll see that video is becoming more and more like what you want. Facebook Live. That's a great, great place for influencers to reach their audiences. You're getting unique, expressive like content behind the scenes look. So our ad products are evolving, and they're evolving with the way that consumers are consuming information. So if you think, banner ads, that's great. That's not what we kind of get into. The best part of it is we understand intent because we understand people. So we try and serve you guys relevant ads based on the type of content that you consume. Obviously, we have a lot of good data footprints. We also try to advise our clients. If they saw a piece of creative A on their mobile phone, we know that you don't want to show them the next time the same ad will show up on their next time. Right? So we know as you go across devices, like what you've seen before, how you've interacted with the brand. We're trying to help people tell good stories. And I think that's really been like the key to success for us is make sure that we have ad solutions that fit within kind of a native environment like you see.
Great, thank you. One last thing for you. What advice would you give to a startup that's at the point now where they've got some funding and they're looking to grow fast? Like they've got some money to throw at customer acquisition or user acquisition, and they're maybe trying to figure out product market fit, but they're looking to use Facebook. What's the best advice that you would give them?
Don't do anything with that money until you are confident you can measure it effectively. Don't do anything with the money until you can measure it effectively. I've seen tons of people start to spend money, but then not really make sure they have the right analytics and KPIs being measured. Right? So we can help you guys understand what the waterfall journey is. If someone comes to your site, they add something to the cart, they view a piece of content, across your website or within like a mobile app environment through the SDK. There is an incredible amount of data points that we can gather and help you with analytically. But if you don't have the that I will tell people, and I tell every one of my clients that tries to go, you know what, I need more followers. Don't buy. Just don't pay for likes. It's not worth it. It's not a good strategy. Like, you're not getting authentic, like, kind of engagement. You want to keep things as authentic as possible. If you are going down the paid media route, you know, have a, and this is kind of a little bit more marketing strategy side and not less about Facebook, but like have a hypothesis that you're trying to test. Too often I see people come up and go, oh, I like this ad, and this ad, and they'll create a bunch of ad concepts they think that look good. But if you're testing whether the blue button and the green background look better and which one performs better, you're not learning anything about consumer insights. You're learning about whether blue or green is a better color. But you're not understanding why people opt out of your funnel or bounce out of your conversion path. Have a marketing hypothesis, set up the ad creative, set up the targeting to make sure that it aligns with measuring against that objective. You should come out of every marketing test with an insight about what your consumer decision journey is. And it takes a little bit of time to like organize. But that's probably the one thing that we tell people is like, make sure that you have the foundations. We call them the brilliant basics. Get the brilliant basics down. Measurements in place, have your hypothesis set up, and then then you're ready to begin spending. The other thing I've seen like probably A round, B round kind of startups do this. They get super gung-ho and they'll throw a ton of money at us and just be like, spend like crazy. They're spending $20,000, $30,000 a day, and then they quickly they go into panic mode like 3 months later. You're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to lay off the company. Grow slow, grow steady. There's nothing wrong with it. I'd love to get these guys advice about growth and how you guys look at it. We're big believers that don't throttle up so you have to collapse down so you throttle up. It's too much thrash in the business. I think it creates dissonance in the metrics that you guys are trying to evaluate the business by, but we're big believers in kind of slow, steady growth, which is something odd at Facebook, but we do. But I'd love to hear these guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, do you guys have anything to touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, we deal with the exact same thing, whether it's our own ad and marketing spend. We probably spend about a third of what we actually do on Facebook, and it seems to be a very good medium for that. But what we run into the same problems. Companies that are raising capital on our platform will put out ads. They'll do exactly that. They'll blow through a lot of money really fast and not get results, but they weren't measuring it. And then there's also one of the important reasons why you need to measure it is there's several important stages. So, for instance, a company raising capital. It's one thing to put an ad out and get an eyeball on it. People stop and look. It's then another thing to get somebody to click on it, to take you to your deal. And then it's another thing to get somebody to actually download your docs and read through them, and then another thing to get people to put in a reservation. And oftentimes people will say, a click-through rate on an ad as being, the most important thing when they're doing their campaign. But then all the people clicking through, they're not making a reservation because there's something about their own business that's not compelling. But they'll still spend the money on the ads. So yeah, it's all the same problems.
Yeah.
Just
We did a study. Break stuff. We did a study. We have a site. It's called insights.facebook.com. It's open for everyone. We do studies and publish our findings there. But the key finding is that clicks do not correlate to conversions. If you drive a lot of clicks, it does not mean that if you drive a lot of clicks, that you're going to drive conversions. And so we've done a lot of statistical analysis on it and regression analysis. Don't optimize for clicks. It doesn't guarantee business success. Optimize for conversions. Focus on the end result. And if you're selling Lamborghinis online, you might not sell a lot, right? But there's micro conversion points along the way. It's gathering a lead, right? There's steps in the funnel process that you guys are tracking for your businesses. There are different conversion points along the way. Find out what those key success points are. Optimize to those if you are the type that are going to be selling Lamborghinis where you're not going to get a great data set to optimize for.
Awesome, thank you. The next question is for Blake. Blake, working and starting Blackrun Ventures, what type of companies do you guys specifically go for?
I think things that actually contribute to society, I always find that the ones that, you know, a lot of, there's a big push right now that's going into sort of like the social good. And I think that some people get kind of confused by doing social good and actually having a really good business plan that's involved there too. Where I feel that you can do social good, but having a capitalistic mindset to it, which really kind of propels the companies forward in very interesting ways. There's a friend of mine, haven't put in, it's too early stage, so I haven't put any money into it, but it's really interesting. But it's basically distance learning that they're able to do, distance learning, learning Spanish essentially. Out of Guatemala, they're taking teachers who would be making, you know, pennies a day, and then they're actually putting them in the lifestyle. They're able to do it from home, teaching you know, American Spanish essentially. But there's an interesting realm that you can get involved there, where like that's a very good picture. But there's also, if you put into a further capitalistic standpoint, you can also add in doing micro lending, right? Where if you start to have these extra influences, it's no longer just a widget company that's doing a little bit here, but actually having a greater good of influence. And so then you're going to be able to tap into people in the financial world who are doing investments, you know, like myself, that want to see the longevity that's going to be there, not just, you know, the pat on the back, because we do have to look out for our own equity, you know, our own value, and how we're going to have an exit at the very end of the day. That is the business that I'm in. I'm not in the business for doing pats on the back, which feel really good. Also on top of that too, it's about taking societal realms and really putting into a new spin on it, right? Like we're talking about how influencers are there. You know, I've said this for the past 10 years probably, where we were, when I used to say it, we were coming into a realm where I was kind of tired of, I used to use, you know, television as an example. I'm like, if I'm watching a TV show with tampon ads, am I watching the right TV show? You know, that I'm the wrong demographic for it. But it's, you know, however it is, and it's very blunt for it. Or, you know, if I'm watching something and there's Insure that's on it, maybe it's, you know, I need to stop watching Wheel of Fortune. But you know, I love the show. It is. But you know, and we're finally into this state now where it truly comes into the influencer side, where, you know, as I'm scrolling through Instagram, you know, you see these experiences. I'm a mountaineer, I'm a cyclist, I'm an adventurer, I do all these things that are outdoors, and suddenly Patagonia, when, you know, I'm now following Patagonia, I'm following whoever else that's in the realm, and I'm seeing these experiences, and there's other people that are actually going through it, and then you're starting to see the followers, you know, tens of thousands, 20s of thousands. Even a friend of mine who, he's just like a friend of a friend, really, but it's he's like a professional skier who his girlfriend, he has like 200,000 followers. He's a Red Bull rider and everything like that. His girlfriend has 100,000 followers alone, and she's able to create her own company now out of those influencers, where she's making great money out of it. You know, and what does she do? She's there on the slopes. She's doing whatever, and you know, it's a random picture of him in his car. He has these crazy cars, but it's that entire realm that is you know, driving that realm into the advertising side. You know, so.
So there's a couple things I can add to that. So I love the concept of, like, you know, adding social value and really like kind of those grassroots movements. Has anyone heard of a group here called the November Project? A few people? Yeah? Cool, there's a few. So if you're a fitness enthusiast, one of the great things they have, there's the big craze with like CrossFit now, right? You're in there, you're paying high gym membership fees and everything. November Project was a group that started out, you know, we just want to make sure that people have a good experience working out. And it should be communal and it should be fun, right? So they actually just started random, you know, it started in Boston. It started with one guy and his buddy that reached out and said, we just want to create a group of people that will work out, have a fun workout together. They called it Adult Recess. They didn't call it workout. And one person showed up. They were ecstatic. I mean, that was awesome. It was the best thing ever. So there was 3 of them.
And then they just kept going. Every Wednesday, 6:29 a.m., they meet up, they do a workout. Flash forward a couple of years and a few months, show up in Boston on a good day, they'll have about 1,200 people show up in downtown Boston and do a 1 hour workout in the morning. It's taken off. It's gone to different cities. Like, there are 33 different tribes around the country. One of them's in LA. You show up at wherever the November Project LA tribe will show up in LA that day. It's working out. It's high fives. I mean, it's big people, old people, small people, and it's just fun. And they just make it very communal. And the guys created a business out of it. And you don't show up, you don't pay anything, right? You're just part of like a group and part of this tribe. It's really fantastic. And when you can create these communities, like that can give back and like create social good, it just amplifies their brand. I mean, they've spent virtually $0, and if they don't buy gear, they like spray paint, literally spray paint a shirt to say November Project, and it's taken off. It's huge. Anyway, a lot of fun, but it kind of aligns towards what Blake's talking about. Social good really is I think it's something that most companies should take a greater chance in.
Does November have any connection with the mustache November? November?
Yeah, it's not associated to the November mustache.
Okay.
Along the lines of talking about social good and movement watches being brought up, and another one of my clients is Diff Eyewear. They give a pair of reading glasses to someone in need for every pair that they sell. Have you felt that social good has really impacted the lifestyle arena of brands? A lot of these emerging brands now are taking away market share from archaic industries that have been selling watches or sunglasses or shirts for years.
Yeah, I certainly do. We know Jake over at Movement Watches really well. He works with our group down in LA. Great, fun brand, vibrant. It's a watch company. It's an accessories company. But having something of value like to the company, it's more than just that. That just really resonates. It lets people kind of create brand loyalty. And I think the really interesting part of creating brand loyalty, if you're really trying to start a company, think on the axis, right? You're thinking like about kind of awareness or familiarity out here, and then you're also thinking kind of this way about loyalty. So a lot of people early on might go, yeah, I've heard of that brand, right? You're like right here, you're not too far down the loyalty path, and you're just inching up the awareness. I've heard of it. I don't know what you do, but I've heard the name. People might have heard of Movement Watches, but they don't really know what they do. Well, then they like kind of move up and over a little bit. Now they've gotten to be a little bit more loyal. I know what you do, and I like it, right? And so eventually you follow this curve. Every marketer's dream is to hit this point in the upper right-hand corner, which is, I know what your brand is, I know what you do, I know what you stand for, and if you made a mistake, I would forgive you. That's like the epitome of like how you build a brand. So think about like awareness, think about loyalty, and you want people to become more aware, not just of what you do, but why you do it. And that will move you across, and that will build loyalty. So think about content marketing.
There's also a lot of pressure currently being put on companies, and I'm gonna explain this a little bit because a lot of people may not realize it. So I've been working with a woman by the name of Carrie Kennedy for the last 5 years. She runs the RFK Foundation, and what they for human rights, and what they decided to do, that when you put pressure on Nike because they're making tennis shoes in Malaysia and paying children, non-living wages to make tennis shoes, you can put pressure on them, but they're still going to brand Nike, and they're going to win. And there's not a whole lot you can really do to stop Nike from those practices. It might take time, but what she realized and her organization realized is, rather than going after the companies themselves, they're going to start going after the investors in the companies, because investors are a little bit more cognizant about outside pressure, because a lot of time investors want to be fairly quiet. They don't want people to know about them. They don't want people to know about their stuff. So she started putting, starting creating a coalition of investors that would only invest in companies that weren't running sweatshop simulation and that were doing social good. And there's a lot of big companies that got involved. I used to work for a company called Guggenheim, and Guggenheim became a part of this, and even did a lot with the WWF, not the wrestling organization. They're not called the WWF anymore, but they. So there's a lot of pressure that's being put on investors now to work with the right companies and companies that want to do social good. So you might as well get on board and do it, because not only can you have a profitable business doing good, but you're also going to be able to get niche investors as well. So.
Great. Cool, and Steve, this last question's for you here. Being a crowdfunder, and you've seen a lot of companies come and go and get some success and fail. Can you tell us about some of the traits of the companies that you've seen find success and some of them that have failed? Some of the good things that they've done that they've been able to become a part of throughout these campaigns.
Yeah. It's hard to identify just one thing. I think there are a few. Probably the most important thing is grit. You know grit when you see it, but somebody who is absolutely determined to make something work. It could be a bad idea, and they're still going to make it work. And they're going to keep pivoting, they're going to keep working, they're going to keep pushing until everybody believes in it. And the people that don't have that, it doesn't matter how good of an idea you have, it may not make it. A couple of other things that are tangible. We've talked a lot about influencers. There's been companies that have made it in the short run that have had good influencers. As a matter of fact, on our platform, if you have a good influencer, you will raise money. It doesn't mean you have a good company or good brand. You might fail 2 or 3 years later, but you'll at least raise money in the short run. And then I would say, probably one of the other biggest things is just making sure that you're organized. We talked a lot about marketing. It's probably some of the best advice I've heard given to startup founders in terms of marketing. How do you spend your marketing? How do you spend your marketing dollars? Well, make sure you have good analytics first, right? And also understand, even outside of marketing, but you have a good handle on the rest of your business as far as operations. You know exactly where every dollar is going every time. Two of the biggest mistakes is the two sides of the pendulum, when it comes to finances. It's either not knowing anything about what's going on and not being organized and not having an accountant and not having a CFO, to the other side of spending too much money for some, CFO. I've seen companies pay $20,000 a month for an outsourced CFO that's a glorified accountant, but they've convinced them that they need them, and their entire monthly budget might be $50,000. You're spending the wrong money, right? But you still need the help. Just it needs to be at a reasonable cost. So that's one of the biggest failure things that I've seen is not having a handle on your finances. So I know I'm kind of rambling, but.
Thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much for being able to go through all these questions. I mean, I've been to a lot of startup events in the past, and that's some of the best advice on marketing that I've ever heard of coming out of a panel. I want to open it up to you guys in the crowd right now. We've got like 10-15 minutes left. We have a microphone right there in the center. If someone wants to start off, would you like to come up first, and we'll feed a couple questions.
Hi, my name's Matthew. Title IV Regulation A+. I heard that come out. So I've raised money always from accredited investors, and really the bar is very low legally on what we have to disclose. I mean, certainly the onus is on them to figure out what to ask for and so on. Of course, we provide everything. I've been reluctant so far to try any sort of crowdfunding through a platform like this because it feels to me that the bar is really much higher. It's almost like you're doing a private placement. You need PPM memorandum, you need like all these disclosures, and then you're in like big trouble if you fail to disclose something. So if you can sort of let us know how the law has changed. Is that bar lowered, or is it, how has it changed, and really, is it a practical way to raise money if you're looking to, say, raise $1 million to $2 million?
Yeah. So there's really three main areas of the Jobs Act when it comes to equity crowdfunding, right? The first one is what's called regulation crowdfunding, and that's what most people think of when they think about crowdfunding. You can only raise up to $1 million a year. You can raise from both accredited and non-accredited investors. I think it's the absolute worst thing that's ever been passed as a law because you're going after people for $10 to $100, maybe $1,000. You can't make money doing it, and the people that are investing usually it's way pre-product. They're never going to get their money back, and the structures that you're investing in. How many people here file taxes every year? Okay. How many people here file K-1s as part of your taxes? How many people want to file a K-1 as part of their taxes? Okay. K-1s are usually delivered in July. Taxes are due April 15th, which means you have to file an extension. You have to figure out the argument in K-1. If you're investing as a non-accredited investor on a crowdfunding platform, you're getting a K-1. And usually people that are not accredited aren't sophisticated enough to know that they're getting a K-1, and you shouldn't be doing it. So I do not like regulation crowdfunding. That's Title III of the Jobs Act. Avoid it. Title II of the Jobs Act is where Crowdfunder operates, and there's only about 4 of us that operate there. And it's the Regulation D, private placement, accredited investors only. And yes, it is a lot more stringent as far as making sure that your investor is accredited, making sure that your PPM is filed correctly, and the onus is on the issuer. But we still prefer that because to be an accredited investor, you have to make $200,000 a year. Unless you're married, then it's $300,000 for 3 years or $1 million in assets. And
excluding your home now.
Excluding your home, that's right. So if you qualify for that, then you qualify for a private placement, Reg D offering. As far as marketing and advertising your deal goes, that's what the Job Act has brought down quite a bit. So you can do a lot more as far as marketing and advertising goes. But your docs still have to be in place. You still have to verify that your investors are correct. And there's easy ways to do it. I mean, they could just check a box and have to say that I am. Most of the time that's going to work. I wouldn't rely on that, but you can. And then you mentioned Reg A+, which is Title IV of the Jobs Act. That allows you to raise a larger amount of money depending on which tier you're operating under. And you can take both accredited and non-accredited investors. I'm going to say, I hate to say this with you here, I don't like Reg A+ at all. I'm not going to say at all. There's only certain companies that should be doing it. And what I don't like about doing a Reg A+ deal on a crowdfunding platform is that you're taking in a lot of non-accredited investors. And has anybody ever heard of the Elio Motors deal? So that's the largest crowdfunding campaign ever. It was a Reg A+. It was like this motorcycle/car. Every single person that invested that deal is underwater. Okay, so you have non-accredited investors that don't really know what they're doing. They're investing in a company that they don't know anything about, don't know how to do due diligence on. And we're talking about people that are making $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 a year. And you're taking their money, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, and a lot of these people are putting in their life savings, which could be in the thousands of dollars, and they're not getting it back. And you just have to be real careful about that. The Elio Motor deal then IPO'd, and it's trading. It IPO'd for less than what the round was, and then it traded way down from where it was. So you have all these people stuck in a deal that, with their life savings and they're never going to do money back. So that really is the tough part about Reg A Plus that I don't like. And I think what's going to happen is the SEC is going to crack down on Reg C after Reg A Plus, the ones that are taking non-accredited investors, and people are going to go to jail, people are going to get fined. And it's going to be no different than the mortgage crisis, right? So how many billions of dollars have banks been fined for robo-signing mortgages before the crisis? A lot, right? People claimed that they had a certain amount of income. They claimed that, and they weren't. These banks weren't doing diligence. They were just robo-signing, and the government cracked down. So I think something similar going to happen. All it's going to take is one large deal like Elio Motors, there everybody loses their money, and then the SEC is going to step in and say, okay, what's going on here? How many people have been led into deals when they shouldn't have? And so I would just be wary of those. There are cases where they think it makes sense. One place where it makes sense is there's one company that I really like and respect called Loyal 3. And they do IPOs and Reg A Plus. They're pretty diligent on letting people in on their platform. And if people do Reg A Plus, I would advise to go to them. They're the only ones that are doing it right. And they're actually ones that they help with the Virgin America IPO, the GoPro IPO, the Square IPO, and they're doing some Reg A Plus right now as well.
Can you repeat that name?
Say what?
Can you repeat that name for me?
They're called Loyal 3. And what they do is they do exactly what you're banking on. They take your user base. So they took all the frequent flyers from Virgin America and marketed to them and say, hey, get in on the IPO. You love the product. You can be a part of this. You don't have to go through Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley to do it. So if you go to the right company to do it, it makes sense. If you don't, there's a lot of hacks out there that are doing crowdfunding platforms, and I wouldn't touch them. Crowdfunder, I don't feel like is sophisticated enough to do a proper Reg A Plus raise, and we're the second largest crowdfunding platform in America. So that's my